love that video. I need some tissues after that. First, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for selecting me for this incredible honor. Congratulations as well to my fellow inductees. I'm proud to be in your company. And thank you so much to my friends, family, coaches, and teammates who made the trip this weekend to support me. Your presence means the world to me. Thank you, sweetie. I have to tell everyone about the first time that Mandy saw me dive. Not to toot my horn or anything, but she was speechless. She was mind blown. I'm telling you, she had no words. I got on the end of the board, went up in the air, hit the water, and plugged my nose. She was speechless. So you might be able to tell from my story that I had no diving experience before college. I was a competitive gymnast coming into UMass, and I emailed Mandy after orientation asking her if I could try out for her diving team. And lucky for me, she gave me a shot. That first year, I was one of 4 trying out for the team. Each practice that I went to, the more I began to love the sport. I started getting really into it. I learned the lingo, I watched YouTube videos of all the greatest, and I was all in. But one day, Mandy called one of our tryouts into her office, and cut, just like that. They were done. And over the next few weeks, one by one, Mandy called each tryout into her office and cut them until I was the last one standing. And then after practice one day, she asked to come see me in her office. Ugh. So I called my mom. Mom, I don't want to get cut. I really, really like it. So she did the mom stuff, tried to make me feel better, and we ended with, keep your chin up. It was such a great experience, and don't cry, because she knows me. So I pulled myself together. I walked into that office and sat across from the most terrifying 90-pound coach in the country. And she handed me a UMass suit. Welcome to the team, she said. And I cried. Speaking of waterworks, I have to mention my girls. I stand up here today, not just as an alum, but now as a mom. And things hit a little different now. This honor isn't just about what I did back then. It's about what my daughters will see now. I want them to see that taking risks, working hard, and putting your whole heart in can open doors. I want them to say yes to the opportunities, even when they have no idea where it could take them. And most of all, I want them to think I'm cool. Being etched into the Hall of Fame isn't just about having my name on a wall. It means becoming part of the history of this school. Definitely cool. Now, a few years ago, Mandy stood up here at her own Hall of Fame induction and talked about luck. And I've thought a lot about that and my own luck during my time at UMass. I was lucky that Mandy took a chance on turning an ex-gymnast trained to avoid landing on her head at all costs into a diver. I was lucky that her son, Michael, just happened to be an elite diver who practiced with us every day, who I got to watch and learn from, and who turned out to be a 2-time medaling Olympian, by the way. And I was lucky that I broke my ankle, needing 2 separate surgeries, which sounds crazy, but it gave me a redshirt season and an extra year to learn and compete. And with all that being said about luck, Mark Twain said, "I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it." Luck can open the door, but it's hard work, grit, and determination, and the people who stand by you that carry you through. So thank you. To my teammates who became my family, to my parents for cheering me on through every phase of my athletic career, woo! To Mandy for seeing something in me and having the patience and determination to turn a never-diving walk-on into a Hall of Famer, and to this Hall of Fame committee for the incredible recognition. From plugging my nose on day 1 to standing here today, what a ride. Go UMass.
All right, let's hear it for the newest member of the UMass Athletics Hall of Fame, Victor Cruz. You're right. It's hard not to shed a tear after that one. That's touching. First of all, thank you to the university. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee.
Thank you for allowing a young kid from Paterson, New Jersey to be part of such an illustrious list of Hall of Fame inductees. Congratulations to all the other inductees as well. You guys are so well deserved. Some I've obviously watched, came back to watch, and been so in awe of all of your talent. So congratulations. I want to start by thanking my family. A lot of them here today, obviously. My mom, I know, as some of my teammates alluded to, I think I watched the movie Blue Chips a couple too many times before I came to UMass because I had some academic issues and thought that if I was a highly touted football player that I would just be ushered through some classes. I found out that was very wrong very quickly, and I got sent home twice from this university. But I think those things happen for a reason for me to understand, to cherish this moment and understand how important it is to apply yourself, not just at your respective recreation or whatever sport that you play, because that's what you feel you bring to the table, but from an education standpoint, it's very important to apply yourself because you never know what's going to happen post-career. You never know how long your career is going to be. I was fortunate enough to play 8 years at the next level. I know some guys that only played one. I know some that never even made it there and are still trying to figure out what they want to do. So education is a huge part of it, and I kind of learned that the hard way, but I figured it out. And thanks to my mom, who throughout those ups and downs, she would lend me either her Grand Caravan or her Ford Explorer to make the drive up to UMass and to make sure I was achieving and staying on track and staying on pace to graduate. So Ma, I love you. Thank you. I appreciate you, okay? Secondly, I want to thank my dad who passed away when I was 20 years old, and he wasn't able to watch me, at least in person, play at the collegiate or professional level, but I also think he had his hand on me each and every step of the way, each and every touchdown, each and every catch, at every level from UMass all the way up to the professional ranks. I'd be lying if I told you I didn't feel his spirit each and every time I laced him up out there and put those shoulder pads on. So Dad, thank you for showing me the game, and I appreciate you and love you. Kennedy, my daughter, who obviously, shout out to Marissa, also shares a Kennedy. Yeah, you did good naming your child. Kennedy's a popular name, but to my Kennedy, I hope that seeing Dad being inducted into this illustrious Hall of Fame shows you that I'm just a little bit cool, maybe. I don't know, it's still up in the air on that, but I hope it shows you that work ethic and hard work and applying yourself to your craft and doing it at the highest level. If you reach for the stars, you'll land somewhere in that stratosphere and be talked about among the greats. So I hope that this teaches you at least that lesson, if nothing else. And lastly, I'd like to thank just the every coach, every person that inspired me or that had their hand on me and that just had faith in me. Coach Don Brown was one of those people who was my head coach at the time while I was here, and really, I mean, he came to my house in Paterson and sat in my living room and really gave his speech and gave his tutelage to me and understood that I needed to apply myself a little bit more, and he really put that catalyst behind me. To Lance Overby, who is not here with us today, not because he passed away, but he had to go and check on his mom back in New York. But Lance Overby, man, I can't say enough about him. He was the one who kept me in line, that kept me straight, that made sure I was on pace to graduate, that made sure I kept my head on my shoulders the right way, and really was someone really in my corner. So shout out to Lance, and just to everyone that in this football space really held me down and really held me forward. To my girlfriend Orange, who's yes, her name is Orange. That's not lost on you, like the color and or the fruit. I know we've only been together about 5 years now, and these 5 years you've seen so much of me, both at the highest level, right, from the Giants and now at UMass, and you've been a part of a lot of these conversations. So I hope it just shows you the character that I've displayed, and it shows you the way people talk about me. I hope you're proud of me up until this point, because we don't have to talk about a lot of the past because we don't want to go into that detail. but I appreciate you and I love you and thank you for being here and guiding me. And thank you so much again for this tremendous award and being honored with the likes of Dr. J and all these different people, man. It really isn't lost on me, my impact, not only in this university, but in the world. And I look forward to continuing that as the days go on. Thank you, guys.
Let's hear it for Deanna Rourke Sheldon.
Wow. I don't know if I can, this is pretty amazing. Thank you for all being here. It's really, really special. Good morning to all of you. It is with profound humbleness and gratitude that I receive this honor because it's not about me, but our team and our coach who put us in the University of Massachusetts Amherst women's rowing on the map. Before I get ahead of myself, I want to thank these people. My husband, John Sheldon, for listening to my stories and learning about my sport. He likes to joke and call it paddling instead of rowing. For all my rowers, you all know that. My parents, brothers, and grandparents who drove boats literally camped out, cheered me on, and always supported me. They have continued to love and encourage me through thick and thin. My Uncle Tom and Aunt Kathy, who are here today, please raise your hand, who introduced me to the sport of rowing and have been my rock while living and training on the East Coast, my East Coast parents. Jim Dietz, my coach, my teammates and sisters for life, Laura Simon, Sarah Jones, Jennifer Ray, Wendy Wilbur, Nancy Peterson, Nayla Bajoras, Jean Lefevre, Kim Mazzoni, and so many others, including Amanda Krause, Jen Amagon, Braga, and all have traveled so far to support me today. To the first 8, you're the ones who deserve the glory. We were second at the very first NCAA's National Collegiate Women's Rowing Championship almost 30 years ago. What an incredible upset we were. Please indulge me as I tell you a little story about how I ended up at UMass. My Uncle Tom was the one who inspired and encouraged me to get involved in rowing. You see, my uncle is a legend in his own right as he rowed for Manhattan College and raced with the infamous Jim Dietz at Nyack. He was also inducted into the Hall of Fame, although he's too humble to ever tell you. Yes. After lettering in multiple high school sports in San Diego, I was disenchanted with the lack of discipline, dedication, and drive. And to be fair, I have no hand-eye coordination like my fellow inductees. Truly, I had never heard of rowing. It wasn't a well-known West Coast sport, especially in San Diego. Considered one of the most intense, physically demanding, cardiovascular endurance sports, I fell in love with the need to find the perfect stroke. The first week of high school club rowing practice, I didn't set foot in a boat. Instead, we pushed cars around a parking lot with push-ups, lunges, jumpies, and erg workouts as the weather didn't allow us to get on the water. I was hooked. Rowing provided me the ability to compete individually or in a team boat. My coaches said I was adaptable, and that propelled me to try out for the junior national team less than 3 months under my belt, and eventually nationals in Indianapolis. The summer before my freshman year, I went to live with Dietz's family and trained at his camp in New London, Connecticut for the Olympic Festival. So began the whirlwind of places I'd go and a new family of friends. My sophomore year, my dad, Uncle Tom, and Jim Dietz, now the new women's head coach of UMass's rowing and Division I program overnight, wielded a plan to get this dyed-in-the-wool California girl to the East Coast. I transferred to UMass in the middle of the school year, and in true New England fashion, UMass welcomed me to a nor'easter. Not just any storm, the worst they'd had in years. January 1995. The snowdrifts were so high that they covered the stop signs, okay? Jim thought he could sugarcoat my transfer by taking the team to train in Tampa, Florida for a couple of weeks for winter training. It worked. We came back with the worst blisters on our hands and sore muscles galore, but we embraced the suck as Jim told us we had to pay the piper. That we did. We started building a team. We came back to train in a Quonset hut on the Connecticut River with one toilet that didn't work. Oh, and of course we'd been lured with the promise of a new boathouse and running water. Now, they don't know how good they have it. He taught us to be a team, to challenge, encourage, and stick up for one another. Make no doubt about it, he was extremely hard on us. After all, he was the U.S. single sculler Olympian. He told us, you want to be with the best? You have to train with the best. Jim Dietz and UMass Athletics, with Bob Markham, athletic director at the helm, gave me the ability to row with the best. My teammates are evidence of that. The summers between college, Jim took us all around the world. We made pre-elite teams and eventually U.S. national teams. We were quite a motley crew. Sarah Jones with a piece of shell embedded in her back, and my brain still catching up to speed after having contracted viral encephalitis. But Jim taught us class and introduced us to his old teammates, people in high-ranking positions, and even some that I think may have been CIA or KGB spies. We were spliced and melded together. We started to win races, making waves across the entire East Coast. For sure, I was out of my element, but Jim honed my quiet, soft-spoken temperament and trained me to be a co-captain for a couple of years, taking command and leading, which eventually served me well in my career as police officer. He taught me that the sport of rowing makes us better citizens. Now, imagine for a moment sitting in the back of a 15-passenger van that left Boyd and Jim at 5 a.m., pitch black, with black ice on the roads, to drive an hour to the lake because the Connecticut River was frozen over. Mind you, the reverse beeper was tripped, so that even in drive, the reverse beeper sounded the entire way. You know, in rowing, we're looking for the perfect stroke, the boat to be set, and all 8 of us, and our coxswain to flow as one rower. When you find that rhythm and perfection, it's like a symphony in motion. The boat feels like it gets up and literally sings as it hovers over the water. It's almost effortless. Well, that morning we didn't find it, but what we found after Jim told us to weigh enough or stop were bald eagles flying above us, with the crisp sun rising over the trees and a mist settling in at the edge of the banks of the lake. It was a morning I'd never forget. My dad used to say, quote, "Leave everything on the line, don't hold back." Those words hung in my mind as we sat at the start line of the very first NCAAs for women's rowing in Sacramento on June 1st of 1997. The night before, racing into a dining hall full of women from all over the country, we listened to Anita DeFrance tell us we were making history. Title IX gave us this opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to put together the very best lineup. Jim catapulted us to greatness, and he foreshadowed that in a letter he wrote to us the Christmas before. And mind you, since I keep everything, I have that letter here today. He said, quote, "This will be a landmark year for all rowing women in the new NCAA championship. It will also be a year to make history by being the first women's team to win the title. This is a challenge worth the effort. We have the talent to complete this task. The accolades which will follow you all from accomplishing this feat will stretch far into your lives. 10, 25 years from that date, they will be calling you all back for reunions of champions. Banners hung from the top of Mullen Center and induction into the Hall of Fame are all possible." We came in second that day, and on the first day of heats, we set the course record. Our final was one hell of a race that came down to the wire. We felt that symphony in motion that day. It was a tunnel vision like no other. Sarah Jones kicked us off the line at a blazing 48 strokes per minute, and by golly, we made moves when Simon said, "We, all my UMass teammates out here, put us on the map for women's crew." Rowing has shaped my life, but it doesn't define me. It has taught me resilience, never to give up, and it sure pulled me out of my comfort zone. It stripped me down some of my highest highs and my lowest lows. I am very grateful for the opportunities and the incredible friendships I've made. I'm honored that they are here today, all of them accomplished in their own right. But it's not about what I've done. No doubt, we worked hard. However, all of the accolades and the silver medal from the NCAAs are going to go away because tomorrow isn't promised. It's not about my legacy or your legacy. The question each one of us has to answer today before it's too late is simply, where are we going to spend eternity? Life is short, and it continues to get shorter as I grow older, that's for sure. I sure hope to see you in heaven when the Lord calls us. My life has been far from perfect, but I am eternally grateful for his grace and mercy to send his only Son to die for my sins, not by my works, but by my faith in Christ, that I might have eternal life. I pray that you too may know the love and peace of our Lord and have a personal relationship with him. Thank you again, UMass Athletics, and my teammates for bestowing this incredible honor on me, and congratulations to my fellow inductees. Thank you very much.
Inductee of the UMass Athletics Hall of Fame, Chaz Williams.
Wow. I didn't want to be emotional, but, you know, sometimes things happen. But first, I want to apologize for my daughter and my nephew. They was having a blast earlier while some of you guys was talking, so I want to apologize for that. But wow, what a blessing, what a true honor for me to be here today, you know, amongst so many greats, you know, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame of a university that, you know, meant so much to me. So much went on while I was here. So much went on, and DK can attest to that. But, you know, I still buck him till this day. I know he was up there talking about our good moments, but he ain't tell y'all all the good parts. You know, he left some of the good parts out. Excuse me, here go my daughter again. Come on. Say hi. Yeah, so, you know, when I first got the, no, mama, no more. I'm sorry, she want to steal the show. But when I started my college journey, you know, I started at University of Hofstra University to be exact. For me, I was just happy to have a scholarship, right? You know, happy my parents didn't have to pay for me to go to school, and happy I was able to do it for free, right? And when I got there, things felt good, it felt right, but it didn't go how I wanted it to go. And unfortunate situations happened. My coach left, and you know, now it's time for me to hit the transfer portal, what they call it now, right? So we had 5 visits scheduled up. We went to Seton Hall, Rutgers, UMass was 3rd. I think we had maybe Marquette or Pittsburgh, something, one of those two. And once we got here to UMass, you know, we stood in the library, me and my cousin, he's here now. We was in the library and we was with Coach Kellogg, you know, and I was able to get a look at the full campus. You know, and being a kid from Brooklyn, New York, you don't see, you know, this beautiful scenery like that. So, you know, I took heed to it, and, you know, that was one of the selling points for me. And, you know, Coach Kellogg, just being who he is, he just kept it honest with me and told me, you know, you come here, you work your butt off, you'll have opportunity at playing. And for me, that's all I needed to hear because, you know, I'm not the tallest, you know, so I had to work extra hard to be where I am. And, you know, I owe Coach Kellogg, you know, all the thanks to, you know, giving me this opportunity to come to this university, to run the program. You know, he believed in me when I ain't believe in myself. And that was a huge moment for me, a huge turning point for me in my life. Coach Marlin also, you know, he calling me maybe 10 o'clock at night sometime. I'm like, I'm trying to go to bed. Why are you calling me? Let's get in the gym, horse. You ain't get up your 200 shots today. What are we getting in the gym? Okay, come on, let's go. And I didn't understand it then. You know, I was just a kid, just a young adult. But it all paid off, right? It all had its reasoning. It's all came to fruition, right? To be exactly how we painted it, exactly how we wanted it to be. So from not my freshman year, but my first year here at UMass, to have to give tickets to students to come to games, and to my senior year when everything is sold out, that's what you come to college for, right? And that's what you come to these universities to do. And I'm super grateful, super thankful for the opportunities that I was given. Because not everybody have the same opportunity, right? You got to look at life situations. I was a young father coming into UMass. DK could have took that and said, no, we don't want him. He has a kid at 19, we don't want him. He saw that and accepted me for who I was, right? So my message now to all the kids, every kid I talk to, is just be yourself. People are going to love you for you and people are going to hate you for you. But as long as you're yourself, you can always prevail and take things to another step and another level. It's one of those surreal moments also because my mom is not here, right? I know a lot of you have seen my mom. If you didn't see her, you heard her, right? Every game, if you didn't see her, you heard her. And it's a few stories I have about my mom, but one that really sticks out. I'm not sure who said the story, but we had a game and I was like playing very, very bad, right? And my mom is like, take him out, Derek, take him out the game. He sucks. Take him out the game. And, whoever it was that was sitting there turned back and said, like, ma'am, please, he's trying his hardest. Give him a break here. Like, he's like, and my mom is like, no, that's my son. He's playing like trash. Get him out the game, And that's the household I grew up in, It was like that from day one for me. Like just growing up in a household full of all boys. I know y'all seen us at all the games, all my family. It's about 10, 12, 15 of us. And being a baby of that group, of that core, right, it taught me a lot, right? Because I'm the youngest, so I get to learn from their mistakes. And I get to watch them and watch what they do. And I get to take the good and leave the bad, right? Or I get to take the good and learn from the bad. So being the youngest cousin out of the bunch helped me a lot because I was able to see what they did as mistakes, learn from it, and then, implement it my own way. And for me, I wouldn't be who I am or I wouldn't be where I am without, my family behind me, without them pushing me every day. I got a cousin that's there right now. I had a game when I was 12 years old and I was playing 17 and under on his team. Because he used to coach games, and I'm like, okay, I could play with you guys. The shirt was bigger than me. It was past my knees, but it's okay, right? We just get out there and play. So, one game I played, and I think I had 6 threes this game. And from that day on, everybody in the neighborhood called me Juice. From that day on, everybody in the neighborhood was rooting for me to be good in basketball, and I owe it all to my family. I wouldn't be here without them. I wouldn't be who I am without them. And, I just want to thank you guys for, all the effort you put in, the time y'all took away from work, the time y'all took away from y'all kids to, be there for me. I want to thank y'all and appreciate y'all for that. It's a lot I would like to say, but, I would definitely keep it as short as possible. Vic, appreciate you for being a big brother, Appreciate you for leading the way, showing what it's like to, be a professional. And me being able to see you and watch you on the Giants hit the salsa, I start doing the salsa. I start feeling Puerto Rican again, But just seeing guys like you, Ricky Harris. When I first came here, everybody was talking about Ricky Harris. I'm like, all right, I want to play against him. Let me see how he is. And, the first time we played against each other, I can't lie, he got the best of me. But, it's just following in the footsteps of other greats, just trying to be great and just trying to lead way and just show the next generation. So, I'm very, very honored to be up here today, and it's a true blessing. I want to thank the committee, for selecting me. And I want to thank everybody here that just came out to support. I want to thank everybody that's been supporting UMass over the years. And let's just keep it going, Go UMass. And before we finish off, I want to, my youngest daughter, I saw her a little while ago. She's the boss. She's the light of the room. Whatever she says goes. If she want to do it, we have to do it. Then my beautiful fiance as well. Like Vic said, we only been together for 4 years. But you know, these 4 years, I've been able to show her a lot of highlights, a lot of UMass stuff, a lot of basketball, you know, and she's been able to catch up on my life and catch up on me and see who I am. And, you know, today's give her a good opportunity to really see. So, you know, I want to thank you all once again. DK, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will never stop bothering you. I still call you Pop. There's no more DK, it's Pop, yes, everybody can know. I would not stop bothering you, and just thank you for the opportunity, man. I truly appreciate it.